Hey, what's going on, good people? It's your girl T Hardaway,
And it's Michael Bahsil.
and we are the Did It for the Hood podcast.
Indeed.
For sure, for sure, for sure. Well, we missed y'all, and we back once again with another wonderful episode. I'm gonna throw this one to Michael so he can go ahead and do this intro.
Hmm. Hailing from Cincinnati. um, this girl right here, she graduated from CMU, the school that we both attended. I'm still here right now, my senior year. But anyway, she graduated last year. She graduated as a entertainment manager last time I
Mhm.
checked. And she's done a lot of great work in this industry, this entertainment industry. She's done a lot of community outreach work as well. She's for the people, she's for the culture. Give it up for Briana Green, ladies and gentlemen.
Bu- 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 bu-
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. I am so excited to be here. I'm excited to talk about my experience and hopefully help some people out.
Of course, of course. Thank you for being here.
Of
Thank you,
course.
thank you. So, think might as well just jump right into it. So,
Mhm.
tell us your story.
So my story. I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio, the good old Midwest, but I do love Cincinnati. Cincinnati has a big arts rich history, so I think that that was great for me in figuring out what I wanted to do. Pretty early on, I figured out that I wanted to be a manager in the arts at around 14 years old. So it was because of the school that I went to. I went to Performing Arts High School for my entire schooling career. So I went to the same school first grade through 12th grade, knew all the same people for the same amount of time. So I felt like I was really honing my craft with the same people for, 16 years at that point. And yeah, and so I come from a family of 5 siblings in total. I am the youngest on my mom's side. I have 2 older brothers. Both of them are also involved in the arts, but more on the performing side. So I was also kind of the odd one out. My mom didn't really know how to help mold me in some ways because she came from a nursing background. Everybody is about education in my family. I come from a very matriarch type family. So all the women in my family were definitely the heads and all were like, get an education, get an education, get an education. So, but the only thing that was hard about that was that none of them were involved in the arts. I came from a military family, came from a nursing family. And so when it came to gaining some support in that way, I kind of had to figure it out. I had to figure out a lot of things on my own. So through all of that, I applied to CMU, got into the drama program, moved my butt to Pittsburgh, and yeah, the rest is history basically from there on out when it came to me managing. And yeah, so now through that, I stopped doing theater at the beginning of my senior year of college, and now I'm involved with film.
Boom. Simple and plain. Simple and plain.
I'm the behind the scenes, so you gotta give me some second when it comes to talking. I gotta
Hey,
gather my
listen,
thoughts.
you all good. You all good. But I'm thinking now with just the family with a military background and a nursing background. So like I'm thinking there's always been some type of like will to serve others, like to do for others in some type of way. So like how do you feel like that is also like weave through everything that you want to do?
100%. I mean, I think that growing up with my mom's in nursing administration. So she's right now she's getting her PhD actually. But I gained a lot of insight experience into just what it's like being a Black woman in the workforce because my mom was also a single mom. So, and I'm her only daughter. So I was a confidant for my mom when it came to a lot of
Okay.
things growing up. And so, anything from somebody being shady to her at work, somebody doing
Mhm.
something maliciously to her at work, somebody just doing something to her, she always gave me that insight, so that I was more prepared for when I got older, that I would see that no, this is the stuff people are going to do to you, like, and
Mhm.
you need to be prepared for it. um yeah, so it was definitely interesting. It was definitely a stricter, I would say, upbringing for somebody who's involved in the arts because my family just didn't understand it that well, but they were always supportive, like no matter
Right.
what. Because they saw if you're trying hard and you're putting your best foot forward, it doesn't matter what you're doing. As long as you're excelling at it, then we're going to support you, even if we don't fully get what you do.
Exactly. Because I'm over here thinking about like my side of the family because I know a lot of my family have military backgrounds too. So it's just
Mhm.
like just that strict like it's either this, this, da, 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 da.
Yep.
But it's just
Mhm.
like I like to do this. So like,
Yeah.
but yeah, I feel that though, and I'm glad that your mom talked to you about that because like even just in the medical field, we all know Black women be
Mhm.
dealing with everything the worst. So
Yep.
it's just like, yeah. So hmm. So now I have a question because moving into that production space, like, I mean, I know just from seeing with my eyes, but like, okay, I'm around a lot of the white people, a lot
Your
of,
eyes are correct.
yeah, older white people, a
Yeah.
lot of male white people. So
Hmm.
like, how was really dealing with that, just difference overall?
So I think that the biggest shock for me came
Hmm.
was when I actually came to CMU because my arts high school is predominantly Black. So
Hmm.
a lot of so when I got involved with, I guess I could start there. So I started in acting and violin. I played violin for 10 years and I acted at my school from fourth through eighth grade. And then I realized
Oh,
not a
damn.
performer. I'm not a performer at all. And I entered the technical theater side. I started
Hmm.
with management and I was like, I'm going to learn everything I can in the shortest amount of time possible. So I did a year through my high school in every single technical theater subject. So I did lighting, scenic, and costuming just to learn basics. And because this is my first time doing anything behind the scenes. So I was like, I'm going to get it all. But
Yeah.
the biggest thing that supported me through that was that most of my classmates were Black women, were my friends, people I
Hmm.
had grown up with. So I'm also learning this craft and learning it with people who look like me, who talk like me, who
Hmm.
act like me. And of course, we're all individual, but I felt a sense of community within my own craft. And
Definitely.
it was amazing. It allowed me to excel in a really short amount of time because I had people that supported me that knew what I was potentially going to go through as they were going through it or already went through those things. So when I got to CMU and I walked into my classroom
Hmm.
and I was like, oh, it's not just like, I knew that there weren't going to be very many Black people, but the
Right.
thing about it is I didn't know I was going to be the only Black person in my class. So it was really, really tough. I underestimated how tough that was going to be for me because I was like, I went to school with white people. Like my friends were white from high school. Like some of them, I got it. I got this in the bag. I
Yeah.
did not have it in the bag.
Hmm.
I didn't realize what that sense of community had done for me growing up and starting out in that craft that it wasn't just the students, it was also all of my professors. So having to then try and connect to my professors when I knew that in a way we couldn't really connect at all other than
Yeah.
from the fact that we're both in this industry now, that I'm
Yeah.
now working to be in this industry, and that's really the only thing that we have in common. So it was really hard to even really be taught correctly at CMU and really getting the education that I needed to further my own aspirations and my own career things that I'm driven to. Um, yeah, so it was hard, but it was a big adjustment. I really had to learn how to, I mean, pretty much assimilate myself and change and alter a lot of things that I would do because of how I grew up in the classroom with, lots of other Black people around. So, there was a like I said, there was a community there. And since I didn't have a community, I was silent. I stayed quiet in a lot of my classes, but because of that silence came a lot of intimidation. A lot of people were intimidated by
Hmm.
me because I was the only Black person. I'm a Black woman, so there's that as well. So I had to learn one to get used to that intimidation so that it didn't hurt my feelings anymore because I'm not an intimidating person when you talk to me. Like, so it was really weird for me to like be told all of the time by so many white people I was in class with all day that I'm an intimidating person. And I was
Right.
like, how? Like,
Because
my
you're
friends
not.
back home call me like I'm the nerd of the group. Like I'm the one, like I'm the least I'm the least intimidating one. So yeah, I had to learn how to use that stereotype and turn it into something real. And if you're gonna be intimidated by me, then watch how I work. That's it.
Okay. Simple.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. Yeah, I had one of the professors tell me last semester for like my end of the year conference, he was like, yeah, he's intimidated of me too.
Yep.
I'm
And it's
like, I'm like, okay.
what
Like,
do
I
you
don't
want
know
me to
what
do
else to
about
say to
that?
that. But dang, so with all of that, like, why did you still choose to go down this path of just management, of just everything?
So I realized when I was playing the violin and acting that I'm not a soloist. I can't be up on a stage by myself or I choke. All of my exams when I was doing that were bad. They were like, you're good in class, but you can't take these tests to save your life, because I couldn't perform up there by myself. It's just not where any of my passion lied in any way, shape, or form. And then I had one of my stage management teacher in high school was also the freshman acting teacher. And so when I was in her freshman acting class, she was like, like, this doesn't seem like what you want to do, but you have a really, really strong like sense of direction and sense of what is right, what is wrong, and also like a natural born type of leadership when it comes to even just being in class with people. So she told me I should try out stage management. And luckily, the first time I ever stepped foot into a stage management role was I was assisting two Black women on a ballet at my school. And it was Dracula ballet. And I was assisting two Black women who I looked up to. They were seniors and juniors at my school. And I completely fell in love with it. I fell in love with the behind the scenes process. I fell in love with taking care of people, taking care of performers, taking care of technical people. I loved being able to understand how a production works, like down to the nuts and bolts. How does it work? Who is involved? Because nobody's job is smaller or bigger than anybody else's. Everybody has to bring something to the table in order for this to work. So once I got a taste of what that could be like, I completely fell in love. And I was like, this is what I'm going to want to do for the rest of my life. And once I got to college, I think that I had to find a different passion within management, because unfortunately I had a lot of experiences at Carnegie Mellon specifically that pushed me really far away from theater and really far away from the white supremacy that exists within theater. Also deal with that and not make money because there's so much less money in theater. And so I had to get serious with myself. I was like, is this the type of do you have the emotional bandwidth to deal with this? Like, do you have it in you to deal with this and process this for the next however many years until I get a break, whatever, in my career, or whenever I'm like, if I wanted to be on Broadway, managing on Broadway, like, could I be able to withstand all of this even when I get to that position? And my answer was no. It wasn't going to happen. I need to also make money for myself. Everything only gets more expensive, and I needed to also heal from a lot of my experiences at CMU, which I didn't realize until honestly after I graduated, was that I had been hurt real bad by that school, by my professors, and by my show experiences. And so once I found that I could switch my major my senior year, I decided to switch to theater studies, which is like a very open-ended, you kind of create your own adventure type of thing. So I decided to do film, and I started taking every film class that I could and every other thing that I wish I would have done while I was going through the stage and production management program within the School of Drama. And since then, I feel like I have really opened up my mind. I've really built up my confidence as a manager in the arts, because I felt like it was all gone after when I switched my major, and I didn't really know what to do. And so I'm happy that through film and through pushing myself and not having those CMU drama people in the back of my head anymore, like, thinking about all the whispers and all the times and all the experiences that I had that were just constantly always playing in the back of my mind while I'm sitting in class with these people. So yeah. If that answered your question, long-winded answer.
Yeah, nah, but it was a great answer though. I guess now I'm just thinking, like, now that you're in the place that you're at now, you've gone through the motions. I'm not even gonna say like fully healed because I feel like we all like still continuing to heal in a lot of aspects. But like just getting to where you've gotten to now out of like just realizing everything, what do you feel like now is like the full purpose? Like what do you aspire to do with management period now?
Great question. I think that I've been thinking about that a lot more recently because so currently I'm still in Pittsburgh because I work in the film industry here. I've been just hopping from show to show in the production office. And so that's
I'm sorry, I'm making this face because I'm like, girl, you've been here the whole time and I didn't even know.
Yes, I've been here the whole time.
Like
you find out who your friends are. You find out who your friends are.
We'll talk off. Cause girl, I'm thinking you back home, thinking you in Chicago, whatever the case is. Girl,
been posting from Pittsburgh. I've been posting from Pittsburgh.
I ain't know.
We'll talk. We'll talk.
Okay, we'll talk.
I'm sorry. It's always love, Michael. Yeah, so what I really want to do, because I tried a lot of things through high school. I feel like once I realized that I wanted to do management, I was like, well, then I got to try everything and see what I like, because I'm not going to pigeonhole myself. And through that, I tried my hand before I got to college at theater, opera, ballet, events, and a couple other types of dance. And then once I got to college and was strictly doing like, theater and whatever else CMU drama offers, I then switched to film. And then through film, I'm like, maybe I'll try music at some point. And like, maybe I'll do like other things as well. And like, maybe I'll hop back into events. Maybe, I kind of miss managing dancers. Like maybe I'll do that. And so I just want to be a manager of all trades. Like I just want any of my friends to hit me up for any passion project whatsoever that I can just like, just help. I love artists. I love creative people. Even though I don't have the brain to physically create something like either tangibly or like, any type of acting, music, any of that region. I don't have the performer quality, but I do have the brain to support and help realize whatever project they have in their head, whatever idea that they have, is I can help a creative personality still go through their creative process while realistically looking at a project. What does it look like? Financially looking at a project, what does it look like? And helping realize that dream without being a Debbie Downer and being like, this is going to cost too much. Like, no, I love helping people. I love creating things that somebody is going to watch and like be affected by. So yeah, it's just, I want to continue to use my skills to support other people. And eventually I want to work pretty high up in film. I want to be a unit production manager at some point, which is the person that approves and denies and puts together everything for a film. So it's a really stressful job, but in my jobs over the past couple of years, I've really got to watch that position and really solidify my aspiration to do that. But also just try everything else in the entertainment industry. It's like, it's such a niche world, but there are so many things within it. So many things that you could never even stumble upon unless you do some research.
So Brianna, from listening to you talk, you have the strategic mind is what you have. You got the execution mind. Okay, I feel that. You said you haven't done music yet, right?
No, I have not done music, which is something I love going to concerts. Music is, throughout all of this, I feel like, especially at CMU, I've always had pretty bad anxiety growing up. And at CMU, it got worse. And through music, just listening to music on my own, going to concerts, that's how I help control and like settle my anxieties. And so, and something that has really given me a peace of mind just to live my life. At some point, I really want to get back to it and like really assist anybody who is trying to make that dream happen.
What type of music do you jam to? Please don't say nothing. Sorry. Please don't say nothing.
Everything you wouldn't believe, everything under the sun. I love absolutely everything. You can put on rap, you can put on trap, you can put on any type of, mumble rap, conscious rap, anything of that nature. I love anything in hip hop, R&B, rock, any generation, decade of rock. I really, really like 90s rock is probably my favorite. I love punk music. I love metal. I love even some country. I love pop, indie, anything. I really love it all.
Super dope.
Yes. We only bring well-versed people through this podcast realm, in my opinion. And that's just what it is. But I'm just being goofy. Um, Listen, it was a point that you made. It was like looking at the project realistically.
Mhm.
And like, I don't know why I want to just emphasize that to like everybody out here that is like creating their own stuff or like want to. Because you have to look at your stuff realistically. What can you do with what you got right now? TV telling me this all the time. Y'all don't even know. For real.
Real.
Can I
Yeah,
just step in right there, bro?
of course.
What is Brianna, you've done this for a while. What does it look like for someone to look at a project unrealistically?
So I think that the biggest thing that I run into when somebody is thinking unrealistically about a project is probably not allowing it's the two ends of not allowing anybody else's idea to like affect yours, and your idea is it, and it has to happen this way, or not standing strong enough on your idea and letting too many cooks in the kitchen. Too many cooks in the kitchen can also cause the exact same confusion as shutting everybody out. And so I think that is where a lot of unrealistic expectations come in, is when there's a lack of compromise. Everybody has to compromise to make artistic projects happen, because you can't get everything you want. Nobody is going to get everything they want, but how do we make sure that everybody is still happy with what is being created?
So finding that middle ground.
You have to find middle ground.
Dang. I didn't know how much I needed that.
Yep.
Dang. Dang. All right. You gotta, dang, how can everybody be satisfied? So kind of on that note, what do you feel like has like kept you going, kept you satisfied, kept you motivated?
That's a really good question. I think the thing that really has kept me motivated in reality is probably, myself, but in proximity to my mother. I feel like my mother is really like my driving force behind my confidence, behind my work ethic. Whenever I think about my own work ethic and the way that I present myself in a space, I think about how my mom has talked to me so much over these years within her experiences, and how like no matter who is talking to her crazy, no matter who is doing what to her, she is always going to get her job done, and she's going to do it well, no matter what you threw at her. And so I feel like that is really, her work ethic is the basis of my philosophy when I walk into a job of like, I might be the only Black person. I might be one of 200 Black people in here. It doesn't matter. I'm still my own person, and you're going to watch me work, and you're going to watch me do it well, no matter who is in the room. Yeah, I feel like that is really my driving force. And her being a nurse, of course, always being in a helpful, like you said, like a service industry in that way. And as a manager in the arts, you're providing a service. You're helping somebody realize something. And yeah, I feel like it's shown through in everything that I do. I worked in restaurants since I was 15. So I have really honed that, like, the service skills, the hospitality skills, and also, standing your ground while not being, not the word, what's the word? I'm trying not to use the word that I was going to say.
BITCH is what you were
Yeah.
there?
Yeah. Not trying to be that in the space. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because management can quickly turn into that because you're in that top position, you can just tell people no. And you can just be like, well, it's not going to happen, so we're not going to do it, But you really have to balance that struggle for power that we all have within ourselves, and using that while also leaning into those service skills and leaning into how can I help this person, while also, keeping my position and standing my ground, but making sure that they feel heard and that they feel respected and that they feel like they can even bring ideas to me and that they will be listened to.
I have nothing, Michael.
Oh, no, I was about to say, you got a question?
I have nothing. It was a lot. I was thinking about a lot when she said that. I was like, I feel that. I understand that. Because like in my last profession, I was in law enforcement.
Mm-hmm.
And they always used to tell us, well, this wasn't a formal thing. This wasn't the department. This was like an internal thing. Us just talking. And the women would have a conversation and say, you would rather be a bitch than a punk.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not a battle for power, but it's because you're a woman. And
Mm-hmm.
because you're a woman, people are going to play with you in a way that they wouldn't play with men.
True.
And so when you were saying that, my wheels started turning. I'm like, yep, I know exactly what she's saying. And trying to find that middle ground without being too much, but not being so docile that you're letting yourself get stepped on. So
Right.
I felt that.
Hey, can't punk me. That's all I got to say. Can't punk me.
Ain't gonna punk me.
Okay, that's on JID and Earth Gang. Plot punk can't punk me. All right, I'm done. But so I think this next question is gonna be a little like
Okay.
like a threaded needle. You feel me?
Mhm.
But have you had any experiences, racism and sexism that stand out to you during your career?
That stand out to me. Yeah, I think that's a really good question. I think that a lot of hmm, hmm. Which one stands out to me the most? I feel like I really just reflect on my time at Carnegie Mellon when I think of those things, because I think that that's a very formative age, 18 to
Right.
22. And I was away from home for the first time. And, I went from knowing everybody in my school to knowing absolutely no one. And yeah, I think that especially when we started our show assignments, once we declared our majors through midway through sophomore year, and I started getting my show assignments. And I think that my biggest shock and upset that like from I guess from something that it's hard. See, it's always, racism is racism, whether it's a microaggression or whether it's, anywhere
Right.
on the spectrum, racism is racism. And so I feel like when it came to those show assignments and I was asking for things that I knew I needed and for projects that I felt like I would really excel on. And my experience was an afterthought. It was, I'm going to take care of these other white people.
Mm-hmm.
And because, everybody is intimidated by you, and because everybody, sees you as like this really, really strong person, I'm going to give you these really problematic people that nobody else wants to work with because I know that you can handle it. And when that was explicitly said to me of because I know you can handle it, instead of giving me a project that I would learn something from, it instead I was traumatized on everything that year. And every conversation after that, I was in shock. I was just like, I felt like I was almost being forced to like do this and I didn't have a choice in this. And I felt really unheard, and it was by my own department, by my own, advisors. And so I didn't know what to do. And that was really my turning point when I wanted to leave theater. I was ready to just get out of it. I was ready to get out of the arts totally because of that experience. And I really had to pull myself back. And, I had to get through it at home, behind the scenes when I'm not at school. And I had to come back and be like, sure, let me go to rehearsal. I'll do it. Like, you're not going to phase me. You're not going to break me. You're not going to, I'm not going to, it's so hard because you don't want to pander to exactly what they're trying to paint you as. But like you said, you're also not going to punk me and you're not going to make me suffer through this. Like, I'm going to get through it and I'm still going to do it well. Everybody is still going to have only good things to say about me, but I was hurt. And that was probably the experience that stood out to me the most because I had never been so hurt in the art form that I love so much by the people who were the professionals in my own art form. Yeah. I would say that probably stood out to me the most.
And it's crazy too, because like I know CMU's good for that. Like for real. Like, and I know it's probably in every institution with that. You know what I'm saying? But like specifically with CMU, it's just like you push and you push and you push, and then it's just like smack. Like, nah,
Mhm.
sit back where you're supposed to be, type thing. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
very much so.
And it feel like that a lot of times. So it's just like,
Like get back in your place.
yeah,
Mhm.
very
Mm.
much so.
Yeah,
It's
and
like, know why I chose you to be here, type thing. You know what I'm saying? That's
right,
how it kind of
right.
can come off.
Yeah, and it feels more like a weird, like it's such a strange authority figure, because you're like, I'm supposed to be being helped by you, but for some reason I feel threatened. I feel like I need to, like, put a wall up and be defensive about a lot of these things, because, like you said, you're basically telling me, no, you're going to get into your place. Like, you're basically just going to do what I told you,
Yeah.
because I said, because I know what's best for you. Even, you know what I mean? It's
Hmm.
crazy to hear
Yeah.
my
It's that.
professor say to me that they know what's best for me when you don't know me and you
Know
don't know how
me.
to teach me. You have no idea how to teach me. And that was really hard to still learn as a manager, and learning from the fact that everybody was getting a better education than I was. And how do I better my own education, because my professors don't give two craps about me and
Mhm.
my future. So what can I do? Who else can I reach out to? What other avenues do I have to make myself better, but also make myself start to heal? I didn't know that I was really I didn't know that I was being traumatized in those moments. In my own personal journey with anxiety, I felt like I was getting more panic attacks in that time. Couldn't
Mhm.
understand why. A lot of things were happening. I felt like I couldn't breathe as well for a long period of time. Yeah, it was really, really hard, because a lot of those things manifest physically.
Right.
And I had to figure out on my own, one, how to teach myself, and also how to heal myself. And yeah, I feel like I've come up with some pretty good ways to heal my own anxieties inside my head, but it's always a journey. But those experiences have definitely shaped a lot of who I am today.
So you paid for a degree to do self-study.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
That's a daggone shame.
No, like, yeah, it's kind of crazy, ain't it, T?
It is why, you know what? I think it's crazy because, like, Brianna, we've had a few other people on who've had similar experiences from
Mhm.
different walks. Like, y'all are talking about it from the creative space. I had a similar experience from law school, and other people have come on, and it's just so crazy how, even though we're all doing different things, going to different schools at different times, our experiences are all the same. Like, even when you were saying you
Mhm.
had to recover from the trauma of it, I was like, I felt that because I knew exactly what you meant. I know Mike felt it as
Mhm.
well. So
Hello, still in it.
oh, I'm sorry, brother. You are still in the breadbasket. We apologize, bro.
Oh, nah, you good, big dog. You good.
No, but that's a shame. I mean, after going through I was gonna ask you, through all of that, like, what kept you motivated to continue on? Because, like, you could have easily just quit.
I was thinking about that a lot. I thought of quitting a lot. I thought about dropping out of school a lot, because that was the time of Zoom school. So if I wasn't getting an education before,
Right.
I dang sure wasn't getting an education over Zoom. So it was hard to figure out why I even liked doing what I do. But
Right.
I think it was because of the outside projects that I started to find, and through helping my peers with their own personal projects.
Mm,
Um, and also being given opportunities outside of the School of Drama, I think, is
gotcha.
what really kept me motivated. And also kind of what I talked to Michael about, my mom. And my
Mm,
mom is just always a constant support in me talking to her. And, she's always ready to ride for me. She's always ready to drive up to Pittsburgh
Okay,
and
just like that.
somebody's tail.
dang.
So, having that in my corner always, no matter what the situation was, really, really kept me going. But like getting to do a couple little short films outside, like helping people on those, I was like, oh, these are real people. Like these are
Right.
people who aren't so brainwashed by this colonizer institution that they think that this is what the arts is, and this is the only way that the arts can exist. And trying to find like-minded people who also knew that it's BS. All of this is BS. None of this represents the art that I even consume or will want to create in the future. And yeah, it's finding your support system. You need that support system. Without a support system, there's no way, not no way, but it'll take a lot longer to find the light at the end of the tunnel when you don't have a shoulder to lean on or an ear to talk to.
I feel
That
Man.
part. What has faith been a part of your journey, like in any type of way?
I have a very interesting relationship to faith because I was raised in a Baptist family from Cincinnati, and also, you know, I have other denominations within my family as well, but mainly Christianity. And you know, also being in the arts, I have my own relationship that I'm still kind of going through when it comes to my faith, because I lean on a lot of the lessons that I specifically learned from my family, not necessarily from the organized religion itself, but specifically from my family and the way that they view their faith. And so I would consider myself, a lot of my lessons from that and a lot of my spiritual philosophies come into my work and come into my everyday life. And yeah, I would say yes, and no. It's still a journey.
Yeah.
And I'm deciding even how I feel about my upbringing within the church. And especially because, I mean, in the arts, like, you know, the biggest thing for me was because my brother, who's a year older than me, he's a dancer, actor, model, singer, he'll do whatever you want. He can do it all. But yeah, he's gay, and so us growing up in the church was really traumatic for both of us. You know, we had a lot of queer friends at school. Him being a queer person himself, it was really hard. And so I had to push faith away for a really long time because of those things. And so I'm really just now starting to reflect and use the lessons that I learned from my family. And yeah, figure out what I want faith to even look like for me in the future.
For sure. That's real. Listen, I get it. I just get it.
It's hard,
like,
yeah.
for real, I get it. I want to get into a little bit more of like what you're doing now. So like, I seen you had worked with Netflix. Seen you had worked with another production company. I just can't think of their name right now. So like, how did these opportunities like come to be? Like, what kind of got you there?
So after at the end of my junior year of college, when I really made that switch in my brain, like, I got to get out of this major. I got to get out. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I got to get out. And
I gotta go.
Go. Like, I don't know how it's about to happen, but we're gonna make some shake because this ain't working. And I stumbled upon the Pittsburgh Film Office website, which is the city's how the city promotes film and how the city promotes jobs within film. Because a place like Pittsburgh, and also, you know, a place like where I come from in Cincinnati, that kind of does the same thing, where you can make it look like anywhere. You can make Pittsburgh look like New York. You can make Pittsburgh look like the middle of Pennsylvania, middle of nowhere. You can make it look like all these other places that are super expensive to film at. So a lot more TV shows and movies are coming into town to film because it's cheap here. There's a really great old film crew that lives and thrives in Pittsburgh. Still very white, I would say, but better than what I was dealing with at CMU. More professional, I would say, a lot more professional than the people I was encountering at CMU. And yeah, so I submitted an application. I just emailed for a crew position on the show called A League of Their Own, which came out on Amazon Prime and was a Sony Pictures production. And within maybe a week, I got an email back and a call from the person who is still my department head, who brings me on every show now. His name is Billy Cole. He's a wonderful, wonderful human being. And I started working for him as an office production assistant. And Yeah, I've been doing that for 2 years now for him. So this is my
Mm,
third show that I'm on now, because I'm basically a freelancer. Everybody in film is basically freelancing at that point. Um,
mm.
and
What does
so,
that mean, honestly? Like fully
oh,
in
I got
context?
you.
Yeah.
So basically, freelancing is job to job, your job to job. So you're
Okay, bet. That's what I figured.
yeah, project to project. So yeah, you're basically marketing yourself and your skills and not necessarily your position, I would say,
Mm,
for people to hire you. So through A League of Their Own, which I worked on summer of 2021, yeah, I just fell in love with the people. The people really, really liked me, and Billy really, really loved having me on his team. And people in Pittsburgh people everywhere in film tend to build their small little squad that they like
yeah.
take on each production that they're on because they have more connections than you. You know, they have more intel, so they know when shows are coming or not. So if you can get in with somebody and work for them
Right.
that way, it's amazing. It's great, which is what I have done with Billy. And yeah, now I'm on my third one. My second one was a Lee Daniels film, The Deliverance, with
Yeah.
Netflix. I did that summer of last year. And now I am on an Amazon production, American Rust season 2. Still working in the office.
Wait. Okay, we'll talk off camera because I can't
Okay.
say that info on camera.
Uh-huh.
But but dang, I was just about to say something. Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that about like when you're working with a team, they try to like set up their little hub. So I
Mm-hmm.
think about Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan's relationship.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Started with Fruitvale and then boom, we here now he's directing
Everybody does
Fruit
it.
3.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm
Once you
like,
find
yeah,
people that like mesh with your craft and that
yeah.
you like you mesh with their craft and you can like build a great relationship that way. That's what everybody does. Everybody does it. Everybody hires their friends.
Right.
So it's hard to break into, hard to make those connections starting off.
Mhm.
But if you're cool, you get your job done and you're nice. It's the biggest thing that I have found in the film, really in the arts in general.
Period.
No
Right.
matter
Exactly.
who you are, you better be nice. That's just it. You're
Mhm.
unprofessional if you're not at least nice, like, or pleasant. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Because also too, because we creative people, we gonna feel energy in the room.
Mm-hmm.
So if your energy is off, it's just like, hey, are you doing okay today? Or like, well, what's happening? Because I
Yeah,
feel it.
like,
So
yeah,
yeah, and I'm just being at CMU, like we keep talking about CMU, y'all, but like I'm telling y'all, like if you walk into the building, you will feel it.
you feel an
You just
energy.
feel it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can't even describe it to you all the way. Like it's crazy. But yeah, that's a gem though. And I always tell myself too, I always tell myself like kindness is just being real.
Mm-hmm. For real.
Ultimately. Kindness is just being real. So if I'm just being real with you, that's enough.
That's enough. I know, like,
So
being
like, yeah.
it, and I know I hear a lot of, I don't know, like, I feel like it's really easy to fall into negativity. It's really easy. Misery
Yeah.
loves company, especially in the
Okay.
arts. And so as soon as one person plants that seed of complaining,
Of
of
pessimism in any type of way.
pessimism, like of
Yeah.
not being happy wherever they are, that is like it grows like weeds. And so,
Crazy.
especially, I mean, as a manager, I mean, even though I'm in an assistant position, like I still have to pull in those skills for
Mm-hmm.
my boss and other people I work with to not one be affected and also try to mitigate that so it doesn't eventually end up affecting me. Because
Mm-hmm.
that happens a lot. Being in like doomsday mode in the arts because you think stuff's not going to happen. We all work too many hours. We all do this too much. You know, it's so easy to just feel so down all the time. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's definitely tough. Definitely tough.
For
But
sure.
you got to find those ways, like I said, like we both were talking about, finding your hub of people who you feel
Mm-hmm.
like you can relate to and can pull back from those moments and can be like,
Yeah.
all right, I get it, but
You know what I'm
let's
saying?
move on. Like life goes on. We can't sit in this moment for hours.
Exactly. Just the
Yeah.
recenter, and then just keep it pushing. Cause
Gotta keep it pushing.
yeah. Oh my God, yeah. Cause when you stay in that negative mindset, you just staying still.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't in motion. You
And you're
ain't
not
gaining
allowing
motion.
yourself to learn. Like you're
Exactly.
closing off every section of your brain that could possibly soak up information because you're
Right.
so set in whatever mindset you have going on.
Just
Yeah.
that complaining, like you said, just complaining. But
And it's, I think that people, especially people in the arts, really seem to forget that, like, as much as this is like our craft and everything that we're passionate about, we are so incredibly lucky to even have the access to all of these things and to have the access to this information. And for me to have the access to know that my job even exists at 14 years old was a privilege. It was like, there are so many places. I mean, in the US, for one, I took my senior year, I took an arts and education class from the Hines College, the master's college. And it really opened my eyes, one, to just how lucky we were to even have this opportunity. There's so many school districts, so many cities, towns that can't experience art in the same way. Exactly. And that they're, even if your priorities lie in sports versus the arts, like, nobody has the funding. Your school could just literally not have any funding to support creative endeavors. And so there's a lot of kids that come into the arts having to find this. They had to fight for this. They had to fight to be able to even study this or even want to study it. And so I think a lot of times in the arts, people can be so entitled. They can be like they should just be given so many things and just be given, like, everybody's time, effort, money, and all of these things, just because, they're there and that's it. And because they've gotten this their whole life, and that should just be, I grew up in a theater program, and I went to a performing arts high school, and I went to Carnegie Mellon, so I deserve it. You don't get squat acting like that.
Okay. Okay.
Those are the people that I feel like I went to school with, and those are the people I felt like that I was also managing. So it was hard trying to paint this reality for people of like,
that's not how this thing works. I hope
that's
you
not
know
how
that.
the world works. That's not how the world works. And that's such a narrow view of life, to not have gratitude. You have to have gratitude in everything you do.
But let me push back just a little.
Yeah, I hear it.
I do think you should have gratitude, and I think that everything you said was 100% correct. But I also think you have to carry a small amount of entitlement with you, because if you don't, you'll devalue yourself when you should.
Yeah, no, I completely,
yeah. So just a tiny pushback, but I do agree with you though.
Yeah, no, I mean, I definitely agree with that. I think you should definitely carry a little bit of entitlement about yourself and your skills and what you can bring to the table with, I just wish people wouldn't put that on the forefront so much.
But then I'm thinking, like, is it really entitlement or is that confidence?
Might be a little bit of both.
Yeah, could be a little bit of both.
I mean, yeah, but also it's just like, I feel like knowing your worth and entitlement, I feel like that's just two different lanes. But I get where everybody come from. Great.
No, but I feel you though. You're right. That could be a difference in words. Is it confidence or is it entitlement? Yeah. Whatever it is, you need to have a little bit of that as well. Because humility is a wonderful thing. Gratitude is a wonderful thing too. But if you have so much of it that you can't see yourself, you'll constantly be in the background, not getting what you deserve.
True. Very, very true.
And we are going to get everything we do.
Oh, we're getting everything we came for.
Yeah. Hello. and the store is empty. We'll be done. I'm taking the cash register with me too. What you talking about? Anyway, what do you feel like something you had to sacrifice on your journey?
Something I had to sacrifice. I think, especially when I got to CMU, I felt like I had to sacrifice. Even now, I'm finding these hobbies and these passions again that I have for things outside of the arts. I felt like when I got to college, my entire life had to be about the arts, and I wasn't given the time in my schedule to figure out what else I liked. And so I felt like if I had an inkling of interest in other things, that I couldn't do it. I was like, well, let me just push it out of my head because, whatever. And I feel like especially with being a well-rounded artist and really human being in general, you should be dedicated to your craft, but it shouldn't be who you are. Definitely. You should still be a human being. You should still have other, whatever interests that you have. You shouldn't be consumed by your art. You shouldn't be your art, because it's not you. It's a representation of you. It's it's an expression of you, but it's not you. And so I think I really had to find that balance, and going to concerts because I like to, even by myself, like going to do something that I like just because I like it, and not because I think it'll help me and I think it'll further me. I think that you should always want to further yourself, but I think that that sort of hustle culture mentality is amazing and it's great in your career, but I think it can be really detrimental to growing yourself as a human being. I think that it can make you lose sight of just doing things because you enjoy them, and not necessarily because they're going to always, like, you know what I mean? Just to further you in some way. Like,
provide something for you.
Right, just wanting to make yourself better just to be better. You know what I mean? Instead of like doing it with a goal in mind to achieve money, to achieve a certain position in life, to achieve this. Like, I want to be able to still enjoy the little things in life, and I miss enjoying the little things. So I'm trying to get back to that with myself.
There's beauty in the process. Absolutely.
It's crazy. I was literally just about to ask next. So, like, who are you outside of work? Literally. It's the goofiness for me.
Who am I outside of work? I would say that a lot of my personality that is shown through my work still is still very me on a real level. I think that I am myself a lot of times at work, but removing that lens of me, or removing that mentality, that mindset of the person I have to be when I'm at work, I think that I'm very chill. I'm a very, very chill person. I'm always very, very open-minded. I don't let very many things that people say like rock me in any way, but I'm also a very expressive person. I think that's just who we are as Black people in general. We're very expressive people. And I think that I love being that way. I'm not always that way at work. I feel like I'm more reserved a lot of the time. But I am a music lover. I'm a cat mom. I'm a friend.
You are too young to be a cat mom.
Don't come for my babies.
Nah, because
I got 2 cats.
About to say, nah, T. Like, I'm be honest, my generation, we young with pets.
No, it ain't not pets, cats.
Yeah, I know,
cats.
like mom, like being like a mom or like a dad. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, we young moms and dads.
A dog is acceptable. A cat, that's weird, bro. You gotta be at least over 35.
Hey, listen, I feel like for the sake of time and the sake of everything, we're not gonna argue dogs and cats, because I just feel like
don't shut down my expression.
I'm not shut down nothing.
I'm just
because I ain't shut down a thing.
It's
just listen. I feel like it's a lot of just ruckus from both sides. So it's like
agreed.
All I gotta say is cat people don't got nothing to say about dog people, but dog people sure got a lot to say about cat people.
Because the cat people can't see that. Never mind, because we got other people that's cat people.
We're gonna let
it rock. I ain't gonna alienate no group.
Thank you.
It's okay.
We love cats. We love dogs. We love whatever y'all love. Just listen to the pod. We love it.
Y'all goofy, bro. Oh man, but that's what's up though. Shout out to all the cat and dog people in the world, wherever y'all are.
Squad.
But I feel like you talked about a few of your passions. But how do you feel like you balance your passions with like other obligations?
I feel like I'm constantly finding that balance always. I feel like I also grew up as a very physically active kid. I was a gymnast and a dancer when I was growing up, and so I feel like that's a passion that I really miss. I really miss being physically active and knowing my body through physical activity, you know, like getting to know my body and the way that I move through this world a lot more through my experience with like physical anything, whether that be I like bouldering, rock climbing a lot. I really want to get back into tumbling because I miss tumbling.
Come on,
And
flips.
yep. And right now, I'm starting to explore my interest with mixed martial arts. I really want to start doing Muay Thai and maybe some jujitsu classes. Because I really I want to explore my body physically. Like I feel like I'm always in my head as a manager. I'm always, always, always in my head. And I've started to miss what the world looks like through movement. And yeah, I feel like I'm really trying to find that balance with myself because, you know, I feel like every day I feel my joints tightening up even more. I feel my muscles locking up because I was so nimble as a kid that I'm starting to feel a little uncomfortable in my body, like a little bit uncomfortable with how I'm moving and really wanting to balance my passion for my job, but also a passion for taking care of myself and taking care of my body. I think that's really what I'm going through right now.
Heard. Hey, listen, I support Black people going out here and learning boxing, Muay Thai, jiu-jitsu, karate. Because listen, that warrior mentality.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say.
Yeah. I need to be able to defend myself. I need some
You feel me?
self-defense.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, listen, ain't nobody punk you at all no more when you get up
Mhm.
in them classes. Because listen, you
Nope.
be flipping folks like it's nobody's business. Hit people's pressure points. I'm done. But
Mhm.
so what is one thing that people would be surprised to know about you?
Oh, that people would be surprised to know about me. Um, I thought I prepared this one well because I was thinking about this. I was thinking about this for a while. Surprised to know about me.
We now know you want to beat people up, so
No, I think I think that I think people are more surprised to know that from a very, very young age, I am very sensitive. I'm very, very sensitive. And it took a while for me to come to terms with that because I don't come from a sensitive mother. My mom is sensitive. My mom is, you know, she's
Okay,
tough.
a
She's like,
G.
you're
Yeah.
not, yeah, you know, my mom always talked about she used to beat people up. She used to fight little boys when she was younger. And so
Hey.
I had to come to terms with the fact that I was sensitive. You know, I feel like a lot of Black women grow up in this world being taught a certain way that you need to behave and being taught like that you are and will become a certain way and, you know, will be angry and will be aggressive and, you know, taking a lot of my already natural tendencies in the way that I like speak or in the way that I move when I speak of like being aggressive when in reality it's hard because you know, I still want to have a tough exterior, but also being fair to myself and realizing that I'm actually a really sensitive person. I'm a very nice person. I don't like pushing negativity really in any way, shape, or form. And so, yeah, I've been trying to also show that to people a little bit more that, like, you know, I'm sensitive. Black women are sensitive. Everybody's sensitive. We're human beings. And yeah, I wish I showcased that a little more in my everyday life and didn't rely on my tough exterior that I had developed over the years so much.
I think our parents, especially with the whole being sensitive thing, I think our parents, since they experience so much, when they see that they have a child that's sensitive, they try to like shake it out of them because they're like, the world is going to be the world going to be mean to you. So we got to make sure that you're not, you know, punked in the world.
Yep.
But you know, as you get older and you start developing, like understanding that you're sensitive, I'm sensitive too. So when you said that, I connected. But when you get older, you start realizing that sensitivity is not a bad thing because it makes you unique. But at the same time, it means that you have to cultivate your spaces accordingly.
Yep. Very, 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 very true.
Cultivating your spaces becomes so important, man.
And not even realizing that you are affecting yourself who you put yourself around and in not respecting yourself enough to tailor your environment because you know you're sensitive. Like, yeah, you know yourself. Yeah.
Dang, why y'all talking to me like this at 11 a.m.? Dang.
It's
No,
real.
that's real, dog. Like when you're a sensitive person, you gotta learn how to take care of yourself. And
Yeah.
that's not talked about. People like, oh, you come into my space. Oh, you gotta be tougher. No, better yet, I just need to cultivate with good people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's so I can feel safe.
Exactly. I just need to cultivate with good people.
So, along your journey, is there anything that you wish you did differently?
Well, I feel like I would have answered this question a lot differently before I graduated out of before I left academia. Because I think I realized that hindsight is always going to be 2020. And I think that like we were talking about, because I'm sensitive and because I'm a manager who has to think about everything, I'm constantly reflecting and having to reflect that I don't make the same mistakes in my job and also in my life. And so I feel like I'm starting to show myself now that actually, no, you wouldn't change a damn thing, and you won't, because you can't. All you can do is change for the future. And I think that I wouldn't change a single thing. I think that I still have a really long way to go on my journey. I have no idea where it's going to take me. You could, I don't know. You could, end up you're acting, you're doing everything, you're doing music. You never know. You could be an executive at Sony Music in 20 years. You truly never know where life is going to take you. I could be a circus performer in 10 years. I have no idea. And so I think that just being open for my journey is really all I'm trying to think about, and open to possibilities. Yeah.
We pray that's not your path.
No, that was so funny the way that you just slid that in.
I couldn't let that slide. I was like,
Cirque du Soleil. That would be cute.
Listen, but listen, I feel like that would be you getting back in your gymnast tumbling bag a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So like,
you're an enabler. You're an enabler. See, we don't need friends. We don't need friends like you.
Yeah.
I'm just chilling. You trying to say I'm an enabler? Anyway, I'm done. But okay. This has been a beautiful conversation. Very beautiful conversation. I appreciate you for coming on the show, Bree. I would love to know 2 more things. So, what is your personal motto? Let's start there.
My personal motto.
Your words to live by.
Yeah.
Words to live by. And it is so cliche, but I think as a manager, it's what's really gotten me so far. And I think why a lot of people have respected me as a manager is treat others how you want to be treated. I think that, and no matter what that reaction is, there is not no reason, but I think that it is really easy to let people get to you and change the way that you act and change the way that you respond. And if I can know myself enough to know when somebody is trying to affect me, when somebody is trying to change me, then, I can hold my ground or leave myself open for change if I feel like I need that too. Change is uncomfortable also. And so I think that living my life with the motto of just treating people how I would want somebody to interact with me and how I would want somebody to help me has furthered me so much, because I can then think about not just my perspective, putting yourself in other people's shoes. Like, you can judge somebody all day from your position until you step foot in whatever they're doing and whatever they're going through behind the scenes and whatever, everybody loves. I think that it's so easy to victimize yourself in a way. I guess that's for lack of a better word, that's a pretty harsh word to use, but like, I think it's really easy to get down about a lot of things and be able to judge other people because you're down, or be able to, judge somebody just because you would never do that, or because, you feel like your way of life is better than the way somebody else is living their life. I think that I try to mitigate that as much as possible. No, we're not doing that. I don't live my life like that. I can't live my life thinking about somebody else. So I just treated the people as if I would want to be treated that way. Yeah.
Dang. I feel like that kind of that's kind of basically part of the last question I was going to ask.
Mm-hmm.
Dang. Because I was like, what advice would you give the next generation? But I feel like that's like a
Ooh,
perfect little.
could be different. I think.
Okay. Talk your talk.
Do you mean more the next generation of artists, the next generation of kids in general, next generation of Black youth, or
All.
Generally. Because
Yeah.
the funny thing, they all fall in the same bag.
You feel me?
True. They do all fall in the same bag.
Anybody up and coming, whatever the
Mm.
case is, going to college or not going to college, like not doing the arts, going down your path that you're going down right now, you know?
I think that a piece of advice that I think that because the thing that I did the most through those years that I wish somebody told me, but I wish that I wish that I internalized this more, to don't stop beating yourself up. Just stop. It's not helpful. It doesn't help you further yourself mentally, physically, in school or anything. I think it gets really easy to get into the mindset that you are not good enough. And, like, I think a lot of people talk about, especially our first year at CMU, imposter syndrome, but everybody talks about the imposter syndrome, but nobody's talking about the mental battle that you have going on with yourself at all times. And you get so used to battling that person that you want to beat that person, and that you want to beat your own self up. And so I think giving yourself grace is so hard. It is so, so difficult. So being able to, if you can, find those strategies early, whether that's through, support systems, like at CMU specifically, like CAPS, not like CAPS, actually CAPS was horrible. But any type of psychological counseling services, if that's what you think you need, going to your parents if you feel like you can get that support, or finding your support in your other interests, like, other artists find artists. Yeah. And I think that happens all the time, and you can really curate your support system so that you can help yourself not beat yourself up. I'm trying to figure out how to word that at the end, but yeah, that's really it. Give yourself some grace, because you're so young. That's what I've had to realize for myself too, is that I'm so mad at myself for not being at a certain position and not being somewhere that I thought I was going to be once I graduated college, and giving myself the grace to realize I am 22 years old. It'll happen. It'll happen at some point, and patience is a virtue.
Yes. Heavy on the patience.
Mm-hmm.
Heavy on the patience.
And your arrival time is your arrival time. It's not dictated by anyone else. You'll arrive when it's your time to arrive.
Mm-hmm. Just stay on the bus or the subway.
Hey.
Eat fresh.
For real.
Oh, man.
So,
Brianna, give everybody your socials. Where can they reach you if they need a manager?
Oh, if you need a manager, you can reach me at my name is Briana Green, like the color. So green.brianna on Instagram. You can hit me up, or feel free to email me. Briana Green 817 Big Leo. So 817 at Gmail.
Oh boy. No, I'm just
yeah. I love all my Leos. Y'all just a little interesting sometimes. I love y'all though.
Oh. Yeah.
So that's where they can reach you?
Mm-hmm.
That was give the email one more time so they make sure that they heard you.
It is Briana Green, Briana, Green like the color, 817 at Gmail.
Phenomenal. And thank you so much for coming on and joining us.
Yes.
Again, I am T. Hardaway.
Of course.
And I'm Michael Bahsil.
And this is the Did It for the Hood podcast. And Brianna, thank you so much for being on.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me. I had a great time, great conversation. So glad to see you again, Michael, and so happy to meet you, T. So happy.
Same.